What's going on, everyone? Vitaly here, and in this video I want to talk to you about why I am not relying on Google traffic to make me money online, and I haven't for years. Now what you're looking at here is, ironically enough, a traffic report from Google that I get to this website that is called the Nature Seeker. And the thing about this is that, as you can see, it's performing pretty well, in some cases getting well over 1,000 organic visits every single day. Now you're probably wondering, why am I moving away from Google? And that's because if I do a much more longer report, you'll see that prior to this jump that's going on over here, before that it was almost dead. And this was actually going on for well over 2 years. In 2023, Google released a major update known as the HCU update, and my blog, on top of a plethora of others, were absolutely decimated. To give you some context about this, when prior to the HCU update, my blog, The Nature Seeker, was getting over 150,000 to maybe 200,000 plus visitors a month from Google alone. And at the time, it was making a really good income. And if I kind of go back on my income reports over here to show you what was going on, so you'll notice that here it was like March 2023, and if I go back over here, it's like 4,000, 6,000, 6,000, 4,000. And then the update came along, the update that caused this fall to happen, which only recently started picking up again. And what ended up happening was that my profits were absolutely decimated. So going from making thousands a month to on that blog that I was just showing you, to basically making hundreds, and then $28, $200, $300, maybe a few hundred, but nowhere near the thousands that it was making before, my blog and business, this part of the business at least, was decimated. And as hard as I tried to get my website to go back up with the Google rankings, it just wasn't working. And so what ended up happening was that I just started to seriously build up other traffic channels to my website. We're talking from Pinterest, from YouTube, from Facebook, from Bing, from other search engines out there. And if I look at a traffic report, at least for the last 30 days, the website has gotten almost 100,000 visitors. And if you look at the breakdown report, yes, Google is still high, but there's other channels of traffic now that weren't there years ago when I was just solely relying on Google. And here's the thing, you may be wondering, what did I do to get this jump over here? The answer is nothing. It actually happened on its own. I just kind of left Google alone and just focused my attention on those other traffic channels that you see over here, and just kind of let things be as they are. And then some update happened with Google years after that decimating HCU update, and it just started to go up again, which is great, no problem. But I'm not back on the Google bandwagon just yet, because I learned my lesson the hard way financially when the first major HCU update came around. So that's why I am not relying on Google traffic. I have loads of videos on my channel here on YouTube that you're welcome to watch, where I talk about how I get traffic from Pinterest, from Facebook. I have been doing a lot of time investing into building up those traffic channels. To give you a quick summary, the content that I have that I built up with the goal to be ranked in Google to get me traffic, I started indexing that on the Bing search engine, which naturally started indexing on the DuckDuckGo engine, and you can see this breakdown here. I started focusing on getting more Pinterest traffic, which you can see over here, and it's actually a huge chunk of direct traffic as well that's counted into Pinterest, because a lot of them are mobile users. I created a Facebook page which now has over 130,000 followers, which I send regular traffic to from my website, and that's actually showing here as well. The point being is, by learning from that loss with the Google update that I had, when it was still in the decimated period like this, I was already getting traffic and rebuilding my income as a result of that. Yes, it took a while to climb out of that hole, but now you can see that things are starting to build back up well into the thousands. In fact, the next paycheck that I'm going to be getting is going to be close to 3,000 over here. So I'm rebuilding those losses by, again, investing my time and energy into other places. Google, I just kind of left alone. And it's one of those things where I just index my content when I have it, if it isn't already indexed. And if it's going to do well, it's going to do well. If not, I'm not going to waste any more time on that. I wasted months, even a year plus, trying to, get into Google's good graces to try to build out content that they like, but it wasn't working. And so I had to really accept that and just go, okay, I can't keep relying on Google like I used to for years. It was making me an income with what you're seeing here. But then when Google fell apart and the traffic tsunami that was coming here just turned into like this little trickle of water from Google, I said, okay, I need to start finding those waves elsewhere. And so that's why I did that. With Pinterest, I started growing my traffic by creating beautiful pins on popular keywords. With Facebook, I started growing content with that as well. I'll leave resources below this video that you can watch to further help you with that as well. I highly encourage you to do that because I openly share these things, so you can do that as well. But that is how you essentially take a business that's standing, that fell, pick it back up, but put extra pillars underneath that business so it's able to stand again. And while this particular website that you see here is not back up to the profits that it was before, the bottom line is I'm building up those other traffic channels that you see over here, and that's slowly making its way back up to where it was before, and hopefully even more. Now again, along the way, the pleasant surprise was that Google traffic started bouncing back, so that's adding that extra income. But who knows if another update comes along in the future, destroys my website in terms of Google traffic coming to it, and I have to start all over. If I put all my time and energy like I did before into Google and that all collapses, guess what? So does all of my efforts and my profits. Versus if I have a plan B, C, D, and so forth with these other traffic channels, that's when I'm able to have more insurance and long-term stability with my business. So that's really the point of this video. So if you're just getting into blogging, yeah, sure, absolutely create content that helps you rank in Google, but don't just rely on Google, or for that matter, any other search engine solely. Rely on having multiple sources of traffic coming in from multiple places. Now, one thing I will finish up this video on, rather two things, is once again, if you're new to my channel, like, share, and subscribe, and I will leave references below this video that you can use to further see how I build up these traffic channels to basically create more long-term stability with my business. But the second thing I'll leave is a link to a free case study that goes into detail about how this website that I run, which is essentially a travel blog, makes its money. I go into the details of that. It's a beginner-friendly case study that explains how things work. If you've been trying to learn how to make money online, do things like affiliate marketing, that's what I do here, and that's what I teach you how to do with this free case study. So check that out if you've ever been interested in doing it, because that will teach you how it works and how to get started with that, in addition to having an action plan to follow along with. So that's all I wanted to cover in this video. If you have any questions, let me know. But as usual, I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.